Hi, welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations with Multicultural Family Hub. I'm Chessie.
And I'm Andre.
And today we come to you with the beautiful fall dilemma, maybe the beautiful things that come up in fall, not just the leaves falling down, but colds coming up.
Those
Yeah,
school colds too.
those school
Oh,
colds.
those ones that just keep on giving.
Yeah, today we are home with three kiddos that have the runny nose and the cough, and that ambiguous moment where you're like, they're not super sick. Everyone still has plenty of energy, but they also were just like hacking and coughing and snotty.
Oh.
That like in between cold moment. Yeah, so that's what we're here to talk to you about today is kind of the tension of that. And I've had that conversation so many times with other moms in lots of different places, just about the challenge of sickness and all the thoughts that come up around kids being sick. And then, if your kids are sick, then you get sick and you are missing work, missing events, changing plans. And it is a whole upheaval. And there are so many stories that we tell ourselves and other people about being sick. And surprisingly, it is a really high area of conflict within ourselves as well as within partnerships about what happens. Ooh, there's a little something from that face about what happens when we're sick.
Yeah, so this is a topic that we definitely think a multicultural mindset can help us as parents navigate with a little bit more, we can at least call it gentleness and maybe some peace. Because if you have some kids and it's school time, I would say September to January.
Maybe even for
Somebody's sick at some point.
Like September to March.
September to March, yeah. Sometimes they're sick at the same. You have more than one kid. Sometimes they're sick at the same time. Sometimes it's one, then the next one, then the next one, and then maybe you or your partner with whatever the cold of the day is at their particular.
And there's plenty coming down the pipeline from here on out.
Cool. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I think for me, the first thing that kind of comes up is the two thoughts of, and I want to be also, when I say sick, I'm talking about the cold, simple cold. We're not referencing any kind of something severe or something that's diagnosed and needing hospitalization or medical attention. We're talking about general, that cold, little cough, little runny nose, tired, that one, the low grade cold is what we're referencing.
The thing that you could keep going.
You could,
it's the thing that's on the middle, right? The thing that you could keep going, but it's bad enough that other people are going to judge me if my kids are out in public.
Yeah. You could go to the playground, but you probably.
But you know that your child will leave all of their snot on all the equipment.
So that's what we're referencing here. And so for me, I feel like there's two kind of thoughts that come up. And one, even though it sounds irrational, I think every parent who's woken up and their kid has had that kind of, is that, man, they really shouldn't be sick. Or they shouldn't have this cold. And so there's that one, which is they shouldn't have it. And the second one is this is really annoying.
Yeah, this is the worst.
This is the worst.
I think the additional pile on of thoughts with they shouldn't be sick is I should have. I should have given them the elderberry syrup. They should have been taking vitamins. They shouldn't have gone to that play date. Oh man, that person was sick. I shouldn't have let them go over to their house. All of that. The shoulds of somehow this should not be happening.
Yeah. And so I think it's that kind of thinking or those kind of thoughts, which I think are natural and they pop up. It's when we kind of let them run, they pull us into this place of a kid getting a cold is bad, or a kid getting cold it shouldn't have happened. Those are kind of the two zones that we end up residing in, which causes a lot of tension in us. And then there's a lot of tension in the partnership. And then there's always the tension between us and our kid or kids who are not feeling well, because it's almost like we're viewing their experience of getting cold as an annoyance. So that's kind of what we want to help and hopefully give some guidance on how do we stay out of that? Because oftentimes, at least for us, our kids get typically sick. It's almost like they get a cold when there's something we're looking forward to going to.
And I want to start with a story about how when we first moved to Savannah, it was so new, we were so excited, and we did not stop. And we took our kids had a summer cold. Two of them were fine. One of them was really not feeling well. And we opted to not listen. We were like, oh, you're fine.
Come on.
Okay. We're just gonna go to the beach.
Gonna go to the beach, 90 degrees with 98% humidity.
Not knowing that there was a heat advisory. And in the afternoon, and it was so hot, like it was hot in the water.
Yeah, it was water hot.
It was so hot. We already explained last week how we go to the beach, which is only with a blanket and a big IKEA bag solely. So we have no shade. And it is lasting down 1 p.m. southern heat. The heat index, I'm sure, was so high. And so we get there, and our poor son is just curled up in the fetal position on a blanket on the beach.
He was sick.
Like shivering. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
not my best move.
Yeah.
I went and snuggled and held him for a while. Then eventually he went in the water for a little bit and we went home. But in retrospect, like he came home and we apologized because like that, you're sick. That was not our best move. I will definitely take a lot for that one because I get really excited about doing things. And I still, as a 40-year-old woman, have massive FOMO where I'm like, I'm gonna miss out on something fun. And I don't ever want to miss out on something fun. And going to the beach in my mind is so fun. So that tension, right, of it shouldn't be happening and I should be able to go and do my fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, that was a moment where we didn't listen, right? And we didn't kind of go into this process. I just want you to know it is those there's going to be plenty of those too. But just hopefully to like take the edge off of the pain this cold and flu season, we're going to talk about a couple things.
And I think a good starting point is why is it such a struggle for us as parents to essentially accept when our kids have that cold, or especially if it's been a whole season where they're going to get different colds multiple times throughout the year. And I think a lot of it has to do with maybe the culture that we individually come from around getting sick. For me, I think about it in terms of a cultural context of like being sick enough. Like there was an acknowledgement of being sick, but are you sick enough not to do the thing that you planned on doing or that you wanted to do? Are you sick enough not to go to work? Essentially, it had to be you had to get to the point where you were laid up with the flu or that you really couldn't move. And then it was, okay, let me ride this thing out till I'm better. So there never was at least cultural acknowledgement of like the importance of rest. That viewing getting a cold or viewing being sick as, oh, okay, this is a time to rest and restore, not just to get better so I can get back at the thing, but to use it as a time to maybe not do the things I typically do, saying no to things that I would typically say yes to, and rejuvenate and restore. And so when I think about sickness and I look at our kids, the first thing I have to challenge is that notion of mine of, yeah, but your cold's not that bad. Or is your cold that bad that we can't go to the beach or that you can't go to school or whatever it is the thing? There's always this level of, has it met the threshold for being sick enough, which we know there is no baseline for that. That is, it's completely depending on someone's perspective. I mean, to the kid, I'm sick. What do you want from me, man?
I grew up in a time period where there was a Jeff Foxworthy, if this is taking a throwback.
Oh Lord.
We talked about if you weren't sick enough to go to school, your parents would say throw up and prove it.
Yeah.
That was definitely that was a line that was often quoted in my house. And I think it was funny and there was more lenience than actually throwing up and proving it. But I think we probably come from a similar culture in terms of you, in order to earn rest, you have to be really sick.
Yeah, and I think you're right in that a lot of us are still operating with narratives and stories and lineages that have been passed down around. Okay, show me that you are ill enough, or prove to me that you do not have the capacity to move anymore. And then at that point, I will acknowledge that you need rest and allow it. And depending on your body, depending on where you come from in the world, depending on your family lineage, we didn't make up that. That gets kind of passed down through different patterns. And sometimes as parents, I think we end up kind of passing it down without even really acknowledging what's going on.
Absolutely.
So there's that at play. That's kind of the first thing that I think for a lot of parents we've talked to jumps in is, like you said, you haven't thrown up, so we should be able to keep going. You're not sick enough to deserve rest. And so that's something that, for us that we've had to acknowledge and face. And then the other part is the inconvenience, the inconvenience of it all. And I think I could say when your kids are sick, even if as a parent I'm healthy, if you have three sick kids, it does disrupt
Disrupts
all
everything.
your plans. It disrupts the whole day. It disrupts your
I mean,
plans.
it's all the things, right?
Yeah.
It disrupts the things you want to do, the things you don't want to do. So it makes everything you don't want to do even harder. There's also who is taking care of them in the time frame. So there's tension between a partnership, right? There's so many pieces going on when your kids are sick, but I do want to focus on kind of the internal conflict of this shouldn't be happening. And that being the main one, because I've heard this conversation come up over and over again of just so frustrated at the level of sickness. So all of these thoughts that cause us so much internal conflict, they shouldn't be sick. And I should still be able to do all the things I need to do, right? My partner should be stepping up and helping more. I should be able to still do the grocery things and go to the performance and, right? All of these compounding issues. I think the should cycle for me, one of the best thoughts that I can come up with for the shoulds is it shouldn't be any other way because it is this way, right? Our kids are sick, and that acceptance of reality and the piling, right? It's like, oh no, my kids are sick right now. And there are a lot of shoulds that we could happen, but accepting that, yes, they are sick. Yes, we are going to have a day at home. Yes, they're going to have more screen time than I would like. Yes, we're going to have to change the meal plan because either no one's hungry or they want something different, right? All of the things, just taking a breath and then accepting they're sick. And this is exactly as it is. And it shouldn't be any other way because it's not. And I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't I didn't not protect them enough. I didn't not give them enough vitamin C. I didn't, whatever it is, all those stories that make sickness right now in this time period feel even worse, pulling those back and just taking that it is. It is this way. And then now, how am I going to move from it? Because it happens over and over and over. And yes, there are things and there are conversations we can have that can make it easier. There are systems that could be different, right? There are ways that your partner could support you more. There are ways that we could do, right? All of those things might be true, but the conflict becomes greater when we are out here focusing on all of those while also caring for sick bodies and then most often our own body. So that level of, okay, this is where we're at. And the other level of this is where we're at. And there will be more of the thing that I'm missing. And there that it will not be this way forever. And I think that is so, it is so hard to move into a frame of mind of it will not be this way forever when you're in sick kid land.
'Cause it
And
feels
oh,
like
it
a
feels
long time.
days are 40 million hours of just snotty tissues and that I don't want to do. So I think to me just remember it's gonna be different sooner than I realize. And just recognizing how long the days are when kids are sick, that is real. And also recognizing that on the other side of that, those things will come back around. So those are two helpful like frames for me that acceptance, this is happening, and the other good stuff is also going to happen again, but this feels real bad right now.
And I think for me, the thing I go to, which is especially with young kids, elementary age kids, that 5 to 10 or 11 or 12, is really, it sounds wild, but it's true. It's like it's their job to get colds.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Obviously, no parent wants their child to be sick for a long time or to have
Yeah.
an extreme sickness or end up in a situation where there's, long-term implications. But a common cold, it's almost, I kind of, it's if you're going to be out at public, a school, camps, sports teams, anywhere where there's other kids and other families interacting, a lot, it's their job. A part of that experience is getting a cold. And so sometimes that helps me because it also takes it out of it takes it away from like, oh, there's something that could have been done or something that shouldn't have happened versus like this is a natural part of this experience. Like if your child goes to a school, it's like a part of going to school is getting the cold. And hopefully that's just it, because there's a whole bunch of other things that can people sometimes get at school. But like a part of going to elementary school specifically is getting colds. And I think we kind of forgot about that, or we don't like to acknowledge it. But if any of us were to look back on our own childhoods, we'd be like, yeah, I got the cold
Yeah.
quite a bit, or at least once a year, I had a cold. And so when I put it in that context of like, it's the job of a young kid who is during the school year, it's their job to get a cold. So it's not their job, but it's part of the experience. Then it takes it out of this shouldn't happen. Because it's like, wait a minute, if it's a part of the experience, then it's there. There's no should or shouldn't. It's just a part of moving through elementary school. Yeah.
And I do also want to acknowledge, I think there's a lot more fear than there used to be.
Oh,
Just, I
100%.
mean, we
Yeah,
went
yeah,
through like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
went through a global pandemic,
Yes.
real things.
Yeah.
And
So it's
yeah,
like where it's like acknowledging that and then also acknowledging that yes, kids are still going to have colds.
Yeah.
Even, 20, 30, 40 years beyond this, or 100 years beyond this, there will be the common school cold.
yeah. It's a part of building an immune system
Yeah.
is exposure.
Um,
Same thing, building resilience
And
is
so, I don't know, for us, by using these, letting specifically moving out of the shoulds, moving out of any kind of shame, and also just accepting it as a part of honestly, of life experience for young kids, it allows us to stay out of these extremes that send you down that spiral of shoulds, of whether this is terrible or it shouldn't have happened, versus it is what it is, and it's okay because even though it might not be the best timing, even though it's uncomfortable, I recognize this is a part of the process of of living and interacting, and it's a part of socialization. If you're going to have your kids socializing with other kids and making friends and making connections and being in different homes and different places, different restaurants, all these things, that part of that is probably at some point you're going to catch cold during the cold season. So I don't know. Hopefully this is helpful because we know right now it's happened. This is there's a season where it just amps up and it can feel a little bit like like I said, you can get frustrated or you can also just kind of get almost like angry about it.
Yeah,
When it happens
absolutely.
over and over again, especially when you have something that you're looking forward to. Oh, we haven't seen those friends in so long and we're gonna get to hang out with them. And then day of, boom. Okay, can't go. or would it be smart to go because all of our kids are coughing and sneezing all over the place? So yeah.
And I think allowing for disappointment
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and
Yes.
for me saying there will be more.
Yeah.
There will be more of this. It's not going to happen right now. And this season is not forever, even though it feels like forever. If you know someone that right now has sick kids, send this to them so they can listen to it
Oh man.
on this day
Yeah.
and be like, hey, I get it. This is not fun. And it is their job to get sick because that's what kids do. They're building their immune system. You didn't do anything wrong. These days are super long and more good things are coming. And also recognize if there is more tension with your partner in this moment in time. You can have a conversation. I think this is a great conversation to have. Number one, what did it mean to be sick in your family?
Yeah.
Number two, how were you cared for? Did someone come and rub your head and bring you soup? Or was someone like, sickness is a sign of weakness, go to your room and figure it out yourself, right? All of those things. And so our expectations about how we care for one another are different. As a partnership, your partner may be like, I'm doing all this work because I'm taking such good care of them. And the other partner's like, you're just supposed to ignore them and leave them in their room and let them watch movies for 9 hours, right? We all have these different expectations, and those can, like I said, those create conflict here between one another. And then there's also the internal conflict because you're already there. And I think so many of us parents we talk a lot about nervous system regulation. We're already at the edge, right? There's not a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, the window of tolerance
Is small, right? And so also asking yourself, what do I need so that I can get through this and be okay? If you are the primary person that is missing work, staying home, ask yourself that question and try to carve out a chunk so that you don't continue to live at the edge, right? Do you need 30 minutes to take a breath? Do you need 30 minutes to watch a show by yourself with nobody touching you? Do you need to go take a walk? Do you need to go see a friend that is not 5 years old? Right? What are the things that you need to do also to build your window of tolerance? Because this time period is not fun. It's hard to like you're entering the season, and we all know it happens over and over and over. Like this is not a one and done.
And I think I could safely say within any partnership, there's typically one person when the kid or kids get sick that they physically are just more either drawn to or are going to want to be on or around. And so it's important as a partnership that you kind of recognize that. And, sometimes even you might be the partner that's trying to help and do certain things, but they may want someone much more than they want you when they're in that I'm sick phase. I just want to be with whoever. And so I think it's important to have that conversation. If you're not that person, to be able to look at the other person, hey, I see at this time you're doing a lot of heavy lifting because they want to be on your lap or they want to be underneath you or they just want to be next to you, even though I'm here and I'm available and anybody want me to rub their back? And they're like, no, get away from me. I just think sometimes that's all you can do is just acknowledge it. It doesn't necessarily mean it changes the desire they want. But I think just acknowledging that in that situation, someone is doing the heavier lift than you're able to at that time can also be very helpful. Because sometimes we don't talk about that when we say parents. Sometimes but with certain things like kids being sick, it's not always everyone is equally able to provide what they want.
Yeah.
So and lastly, please, 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 as parents, human beings, adults, you do not have to prove that you're sick enough for rest for yourself. Because I don't know about y'all, but at least for us, once the kids are all better and they're jumping in on the monkey bars and doing cartwheels and backflips, that's usually when one of us gets the tickle. One of us is like, oh, okay, last one in line. And so just also know that we want to model for our kids, at least we do, and I'm sure you do too, that rest isn't something that you have to hit rock bottom or throw up to deserve. It could just be acknowledgement of like my energy is low because of this experience, and I'm going to take some time to recharge the system in whatever way that looks for you or your partner, so that we can then continue to show up for the next round of cold that happens, again.
Yeah,
So
you don't have to earn
you don't have to
rest.
earn this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's your birthright. And
Mhm.
so use it when you need it and encourage your partner to do the same and support them. And then hopefully it keeps the whole thing from, instead of going down to a place that's really dangerous, we can all you know, stay up. And that way we can move through these seasons without the anger, without the resentment, and without the shoulds, because the
Yeah.
shoulds they don't
Because
serve us.
you're already sick. That pile of shoulds is
Big
so
old pile of
heavy.
shoulds.
Yeah, and the frustration and anger with it shouldn't be like this just adds to the heaviness of the sickness. And I do find it so helpful to just take a beat and be like, "Oh, this is happening. This is part of the deal. This is how it goes. It's going exactly as it should be, which is kids getting sick right on time. And just be gentle and take care of one another because man, we're ramping up into it.
All right. Well, happy fall, everyone.
Yeah, share happy fall. Share this with someone who, like I said, whose kids are sick and need a little it's okay.
It's all
You
good.
need let me give you a few little nuggets to give you a little boost because we all need it as we're going through a cold and flu season.
All right.
So we'll see you guys soon. We have some really fun guests coming up, so tune in.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.